When I was 27, one of my friends introduced me to the idea of lucid dreaming, where she said she could control her dreams. And what followed was one of the biggest changes to my mind and my life ever. I tried lucid dreaming for 30 days, but I didn't just stop after that. I kept going. And now for over 2 years, I've been lucid dreaming, and it's blew my mind up in ways I never thought imaginable. The things I've experienced in the past 2 years are so profound, so life-changing, that I can't imagine a world where I don't lucid dream. But as my journey went on, things got way more intense and way more complicated than I could have ever imagined. Some good, some bad. So what I want to share with you is my 2-year and beyond journey with lucid dreaming. Some things I would avoid if you're entering the lucid dreaming world, and some things I would focus on if you want to start lucid dreaming, as well as why I'll never watch that Inception movie again. So I went from having 3 to 4 lucid dreams a week to 0 dreams a week. But it made sense, right? I wasn't keeping a dream journal. I wasn't trying Wake Back to Bed or Mild. I wasn't reading about lucid dreaming anymore, and I wasn't really excited by lucid dreaming. I was busy with my life and lost the excitement towards what was possible when I could try lucid dreaming. I forgot about the mind-bending experiences and adventures that I had. Then one day I rewatched the movie Inception, and I realized my body had been missing lucid dreaming so much. I couldn't stop writing notes to myself during the movie about how I was gonna do these different things in dreams and how I was gonna restart my lucid dreaming experience. I remember those amazing feelings associated with lucid dreaming of elation and happiness and excitement. But that night I decided to lucid dream again, I had one of the scariest nightmares of my life. Now, this was about 2 months into my lucid dreaming journey, so I tried it for 30 days, had honestly life-changing experiences, and then came back to it at around day 60. When I first did my 30-day challenge into lucid dreaming, I entered very seriously. I kept a dream journal, I read a book about it, I understood the purpose and my motivation for doing that. But this second time I was entering it around day 60, I was entering it with this kind of lackadaisical and kind of carefree attitude. And maybe my dream was like, no way you can do this thing, no way you can do this monumental thing that people have been doing for thousands of years in a laissez-faire attitude. We're sending you straight to jail. No, you don't even get to pass go. No $200. So one theory of dreaming is that every single thing in your dream is just a representation of you, just one of your thoughts about yourself. So if you're having a nightmare, right, it's just an aspect of yourself that you haven't come to grips with. It's just a shadow aspect or a shadow part of your mind that you've pushed so far back from your conscious thought, it's your subconscious. But because this thing is really a part of you, in nightmares, it presents itself to you to try and say, hey, listen, look at me, pay attention, because I'm actually an important part of your life. And this actual conscious fear of it is what makes the nightmare. And maybe I'll get into this in another video, but the way to actually get rid of nightmares is to not fight this thing or repress this thing or try and get rid of this thing, right? Because the idea is it's a part of you. It's just trying to get to know you a little bit better. Instead, face it with warmth, with love, with acceptance, right? Because it's just a part of you. And I know this is insanely hard. People have been through traumatic things, they have crazy dreams, all this kind of stuff. But again, it's not saying that you're accepting the person that has done this thing or the thing that has done this thing or the event that happened to you. It's simply saying that you yourself are accepting that this is a part of you and something that happened. Okay, but after that particularly awful nightmare after watching the movie Inception, I delved back into the research and I wanted to see if there were any like famous people or historical figures that actually used lucid dreaming to kind of grow their lives. And what I found out was Einstein famously lucid dreamed all the time, and he used this to discover the theory of relativity. James Cameron actually attributes the movie Avatar to having a lucid dream. Richard Feynman, my favorite teacher of all time, would regularly go into lucid dreams to learn and experience new things. And Tiger Woods would actually practice his golf swing during dreams. And I reflected on these amazing people and the experiences I had in my first 30 days, and I realized I had to get back into this lucid dreaming thing. Nightmares be damned. So when I was on vacation in Buenos Aires, I had a unique, mind-bending, crazy experience. So I was sitting on like a balcony outside, sitting on a chair in my Airbnb, and I began to fall asleep as I was watching the sunrise after a long night. And I remember as soon as I fell asleep, I began to kind of float over the city. I remember watching a mother wake up with her children and kind of prepare breakfast. I remember the street workers coming out to start cleaning the streets of Buenos Aires, right? And I remember the shops and coffee shops and all the shops opening their doors and things like that as the day was getting started. And the best part is I floated to this like Japanese kind of looking garden, and I saw this girl sitting on the bench, and she was the most beautiful girl that I had ever seen in my entire life. And I woke up sitting on that same balcony with my heart like pounding, and I was like, that can't be real life, right? No one actually floats over a city. It was probably just a dream. It was a crazy thing. I'm just gonna ignore it and kind of move on. So a little shocked, right? I woke up and walked outside of my Airbnb to get some coffee in the morning. And I remember I was walking down the street and I saw this lady walking with her kids in like one of those double stroller things. And I looked at the mother, the lady pushing the stroller, and she looked exactly, she was the person that I saw in my dream. And I just stood there with my coffee like this, just staring at her for a minute, because I was just amazed that this was the person, 100%, this was the person that I saw in my dream. Exactly the same person with the same kids that I saw in my dream when I floated over the city. Now, the realist in me says, you know, Zach, this was just someone you saw around the area before, and you know, your subconscious just made this presentation of this lady in your mind because you've seen her before, and that's all the subconscious can do. But it was just so jarring seeing this exact person from the dream. But then I thought, okay, if that person exists, then maybe this beautiful girl that I saw in the Japanese garden exists. But I didn't think, I'm in Buenos Aires, they don't have any Japanese gardens. Where am I gonna find a Japanese garden? And I brought out my phone and I Googled just Japanese gardens in Argentina. And there was a Japanese garden. There's actually a famous, who would have freaking known it, Japanese garden in Buenos Aires, like a famous fancy garden with like bridges and trees and nice stuff. And I immediately got in a taxi and went to this Japanese garden because it was only 15 minutes away, and I scoured the garden looking for this really, really pretty girl, but I never found her. And I had my backpack with my Kindle with me and stuff like that, and my guide, my Bible, essentially for lucid dreaming was Stephen LaBerge's Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming, and I opened it up. And very interestingly, when I opened it up, the first passage I saw was this: in dreams, as in waking life, our perceptions shape our reality. Lucid dreaming shows us that by changing our perceptions, we can change our reality. So maybe it wasn't actually that I was predicting the future, right? Or having an out-of-body experience or anything crazy like that. But maybe, just like Stephen LaBerge is saying, what the dream was trying to show me, right, is that if I step into reality, if I step into the present moment, if I focus on things around me, right, my perception will change of the things around me, and therefore my reality will change, right? Because if you focus on one thing, like if you focus on my voice, or if you start to focus on the background behind me or something like that, the other things sort of start to fade, right? If you just listen to the beach sounds around me, or if you just look at the waves crashing, the actual words coming out of my mouth aren't that important. Now, most people are probably looking at me and looking to my words, and you might not have even noticed kind of the trees and the waves and the things around me, right? Because it's just your perception. What is your perception of what's going on right now? And that shapes your reality.
No different, only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
And this was an epiphany moment, right? This was a big moment for me, because I realized that lucid dreaming wasn't just to like seek hot girls in the lucid dreams or experience fun, exciting events like getting trained by Yoda or something like that. It was a way to really change waking life. Dream life was a way to change waking life. And this was a magical switch for me. And Robert Wagner, in his book, Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming, says there's 5 stages to the lucid dreamer. Number 1 is personal play, pleasure, and pain avoidance. Number 2 is manipulation, movement, and me. Number 3 is power, purpose, and primacy. Number 4 is re-reflection, reaching out, and wonder. And number 5 is experiencing awareness. And I think that the experience in Buenos Aires was monumental for me because I went from stage 3 to stage 4. I went from power, purpose, and primacy to re-reflection, reaching out, and wonder, because I really was in wonder and awe at what the dream had showed me, and not necessarily with me controlling it, just me being aware of what was going on in the dream. And instead of guiding the lucid dream, controlling the lucid dream, I learned from this moment that it might be beneficial to just be aware, be lucid while the dream is going on, but let the dream guide me. Maybe my subconscious, maybe whoever's controlling these dreams in the background is much smarter than I thought. They're much more aware of everything in Zach than I thought, and I should trust them. I should let them show me what's important to them, because them is really just me or something guiding this purpose or this meaning to my dreams. And what I just learned from that Buenos Aires experience, which is not just my dreams, it's my life. It's my waking reality. And Henry David Thoreau says, "We must learn to sail with the wind of dreams, not against it. The dream is the compass, not the destination." For the next year, I decided to let the dreams guide me, and I had the most insane experiences and insane dreams that I've ever had. I want to read one pivotal dream to you. I was in the suburbs of where I grew up, and the air felt thick. I was moving slower than usual, and I thought it was weird that I couldn't move very fast, and quickly I realized that I was dreaming. Instantly, the dream became more colorful and clear. The wind pulled me outside to the concrete sidewalk outside, but I saw how small the Earth was and the amazing number of other solar systems and galaxies throughout space. A middle-aged man sat next to me and who looked like my dad, but wasn't him. And he sat watching the universe with me for what felt like hours. And I wanted to ask this figure, this dad-like figure next to me, questions, but still lucid, I realized I was trying to let the dream show me what it wanted to show me. I didn't want to guide it in any way. Finally, the man said, "What do you think is here?" And I said, "The infinity of space." He shook his head and said, "No," and smiled again and said, "This is just the beginning." I woke up at that point and I was just like amazed and stunned with this experience. This was something so deep, so profound, that I had never experienced in my controlled lucid dreaming ever before, that I thought, God, I gotta keep letting this dream guide me and show me things. And I wondered if he meant the beginning of my lucid dreaming stage or the beginning of my life, or something more, even more profound. And I had a few more dreams like this where the dream figures repeated themselves saying, "It's the beginning," or they said, "Look up." Anyway, that brings us to now. This is what I've been doing for the past year. The first year of lucid dreaming was really trying to control and experience great things. And the past year was kind of being a sailor on the kind of the sea of these dreams. Okay, but overall, my stats for 700 days of dreaming and tracking and lucid dreaming and stuff like that were 2,000 plus recorded dreams, 180 lucid dreams, and no change in sleep quality as recorded by my Sleep 8 mattress. Lucid dreaming usually happened in sprints for me. It really was a muscle. If I didn't practice for a week, record my dreams, read something about it, do reality checks, the lucid dreams would fade. So what do I do now? What do I do after 2.5 years of lucid dreaming? Well, I like to oscillate back and forth, right? When the inspiration hits me, I'll read some books, take some notes, figure out my dream journal, and try to really lucid dream for a couple of weeks or even months. But sometimes I just want to see what dreams are. What are the things that are presenting themselves to me? And I'll still usually keep a dream journal, but I won't necessarily try and interact that much with the dreams. Maybe I'll even let it fade completely to blackness. And I'm actually so in tune now with my dreams, or I think I am, right, to a certain level, that I can actually tell myself that I want to focus on dreams, or even that I want to wake up at a certain time, or even that I want to have a certain kind of dream, and usually my brain will move in that direction. And I'll continue to lucid dream like this. I found it particularly helpful when I was facing tough challenges in my life. And so much of that information was revealed to me in that second year of lucid dreaming. I'm so happy I didn't stop. I learned that scary dreams were usually just something I was repressing, something that I hadn't accepted in my real life. Or sometimes I just wanted to have fun. Who doesn't like dual wielding crazy Halo energy swords and fighting off a zombie apocalypse? One of my many, just for fun, lucid dreams. My plan now is simply to act in the moment. When the inspiration hits me, or when for some reason I feel like I need to lucid dream, I'll try and lucid dream. When I feel like letting the dream speak to me, I'll let the dream speak to me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I just have one final question for you. Are you dreaming right now? That is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.